Okay, if you're tuning in, this is our second mayoral presentation, and I'd like to formally welcome Mayor Gaetz to Central Elementary School and thank her for her time and helping our kids understand government at the local level. So we're exactly on time, so I'll pass it over to Mayor Gaetz.
Thank you very much, and it's really nice to see all of you students from Central Elementary School. Do you know this is where I spent grade 6 and grade 7? So most of you are in grade 6, right? All of you are in grade 6?
No.
Some of you are in grade 5, right? Yeah, well, great. This is a fabulous school. When I grew up here, they always had the boys' side and the girls' side. Do you still have that? Oh, good. You don't have to be segregated anymore. Well, that's kind of a cool thing because you know what? I think it's really good for boys and girls to learn from each other. Right now, I've been on council for guess how many years? Anybody want to take a guess? How many do you think, Jackson?
4 or 5.
Much, much longer than that.
10.
Yes?
15.
It's even longer than that, longer than 15. How many do you think?
21.
Oh, no, I was just a baby then. No, 18 years I've been on council, so it's a long time. I've been your mayor for 6 years, so that was pretty good. But I was the first girl mayor, and girls get to do things now that boys have always got to do, but it's really sweet to see the changes. Some of you, this will always be part of your life, that as women or girls, you'll know that you can do anything that guys can do. But when I was a little girl, it wasn't that way. And really, there were only a few women that were ever in politics, ever. That's what you call running for government politics. So I'm very, very happy to tell you I've been here 18 years. So Mr. Lister asked me a few questions and asked me to tell you a few things before we started. And hello to anybody who's watching on the internet. Thank you for picking up on the tweet from Mr. Lister and also on my Facebook page. I appreciate that. So the very first thing he asked me is, why should these kids vote for you in their election, right? Now, I know that in the real election, you have to be a little bit older than you are right now, but one day you're going to vote, and you can influence big people to vote too. You go home and you tell people, I like that lady, right? You're going to do that? You don't even know yet. Anyway, okay. So I brought some show and tell because I think it's really important for you to see some things. I'm really, really happy, and I'm going to pass these around. Be very careful with them because they're very precious to me. Because of the kind of work I do in the community, I volunteered in a lot of things before I ever became mayor. And I worked as a city councillor and worked on many, many committees. The Queen gave me some medals. So one is the Queen's Golden Jubilee Medal, and one is the Queen's Diamond Jubilee Medal. It is for community service, for helping out in our community, and the other one is for helping out in Canada and the community. So I'm going to pass these around if you want to take a look at them. They're pretty cool. And that's one reason that when the Queen gives you a medal, it says something about who you are and what you do in the community. And I think, you know, if we had to compare, and I hate to compare to the other candidates because I'm so glad they're running. It makes for a great election. But it's a little bit like trying to, I think they should have probably gone to council first before they became the mayor. It's a little bit like if somebody in grade 1 wanted to be in grade 6. There's a lot to learn in between, right? And it takes a lot of time to learn that. So I learned it when I was on city council. I learned it when I started out 18 years ago, and John Les was my mayor, and then Clint Hames was my mayor. I learned so many things from them about all the things you need to know in government. The first thing you need to know about being a mayor is that a mayor only gets one vote. So the mayor better be pretty good at influencing others and getting other people to vote with her, right? Wouldn't you think? So if we had an issue today, and I thought, well, let's say I thought that all dogs should run free in the city of Chilliwack. No one should ever be on a leash, and they should be able to poop wherever they want to poop. I know that's, well, for you that might be really gross, but maybe there's some other people who think that's true. But if I wanted to bring that forward and say, let's make a law about that, I would, if you were my council, I would have to convince you, Madison, you, Susanna, I'd have to convince you, Johnny, and you, Jackson, and you, Diamond. I'd have to convince you to vote with me. So when you're choosing a mayor, choose somebody who makes you want to vote with them and who gives really good arguments and talks about it. So let's talk about Chilliwack, because I think you guys really, you live here and you may not know all of the things that the city does for you, right? So anybody know one of the things the city does for you? Yes.
Keeping protected.
They protect you? Yes, they do. We pay for the police and we pay 90%. That means that the other governments pay 10%. If you had $1, they would pay 10 cents on the dollar, and we pay 90 cents. And we pay for all of our firemen, our firefighters here in the city of Chilliwack. So yeah, we do protect you. Anybody else? We provide parks for you to go play. We provide the leisure center. There's the one right down this direction, the Landing Leisure Center. We have Shiam Leisure Center. We have bike parks that we built for you. In the past year, we built a beautiful one on Island 22. Anybody been there? You have. Excellent. Did you like it? It's a cool place to go, isn't it? Have you done the big jumps yet? Not yet. Oh, you got to try them out. They're pretty amazing. So we did that. We did a skate park in Mayoral, and I think I said one in Sardis. We built all kinds of things for youth. We also have a youth pass. As soon as you hit grade 5, how many of you have your active pass? All the grade 5s. If you don't have your active pass, get it. It's really important because you get to go to all of these things free. You get to go swimming, you get to go skating, you get to do all of these things for free if you want to. So make sure you do that, and the city does that in partnership with other people. So we also look after everything you flush down the toilet. We look after that for you. Yeah, I see your face. Yes, but you know, can you imagine if you had to look after that yourself? Really? Because in the olden days when my grandmother was around, that's what they had to do. In the nighttime, they had to use a chamber pot, they called it. They pulled it out from under their bed, then they took it out in the morning, then they dumped it in the outhouse, and they had to go to an outhouse. It was freezing cold in the wintertime. So we look after that for you. We look after bringing water to your house. So every time you turn on your tap, there's a guy at City Hall you want to thank. His name is Glenn McPherson. And he looks after 450 kilometers of pipe to bring that water to you. Isn't that amazing? Absolutely amazing. We look after all kinds of things. Like, have you been to, anybody been to the cultural center? Yeah?
I think so.
It's a neat place to go. I just saw Mrs. Long in here just a few minutes ago, and she works with the cultural, with the community arts group. It's a fantastic place to go and watch a show or hear some music or paint something or make something out of pottery. It's really very sweet. So I know there's all kinds of things that you have to ask me about how to be a mayor and kind of questions about our town. And I'm just really looking forward to hearing your questions. And thanks for being so polite and so kind. Like this classroom, you guys are really listening well. And I thank you very much for doing that. And the rest of you out there, go get your coffee. This might be a few minutes.
So, Central, when you ask your question, if you can introduce yourself first, that's good practice. And we kind of want the people on the other end, there's a video camera on the internet, to hear you. So if you can be loud with your question if possible, and if you're a little soft with your voice, then I'll repeat the question for you so that people on the other end can hear.
And you're not going to scare me. You can talk as loud as you want. I just don't get scared very easy.
So take a second to review your question, and then put your hands up. We'll take 5 questions. Okay. Who's go first?
Well,
Thank you, Suzanne.
If elected, what will you do to make the town safe?
that is a great question. What will I do to make the town safe? Well, there are many things to make the town safe, but you have to know this, that the town becomes unsafe when people start using drugs and alcohol. That's what happens in our community. How many of you have ever had a sad thing happen to you or know somebody who has been on drugs or alcohol and has acted crazy or has hurt your family or hurt you? Yeah, there's a few people here with their hands up. I would guess probably about how many? Let me see your hands. There's probably about 6 people in the room that say that this has really affected them. What happens when people get addicted to drugs? They have to start stealing stuff from you to pay for their drugs, because drugs are very expensive. They might come into your house, they might break into your shed, they might break into your car. Please lock up your car and tell your parents to lock their cars at night, because people are looking for things to take out of your cars. So that's one way you can keep this town safe. You can, not me, you can. Promise the mayor that you're not going to get involved in drugs and alcohol, because it is just a terrible, terrible thing to get involved in drugs and alcohol. So that's number one. And for the people who are stuck in drugs and alcohol, I feel so sad for them, because nobody expects that they're going to be addicted to it, right? So we provide places for them to get help. We provide places where they can go and get off of their drugs, and they have a place to sleep. We have homeless people that have been on the street. We cut that by 40%. We only have 70 people right now who live on the street, and we're trying to get them all into beds, because we have 45 beds that are just waiting for them to fill them, right? So that's one. Police officers, yes. We talk to our police all the time and work with our police to make our city safer. We have we have added in as many police as the police department has asked for to help enforce safety in our community. So, but our police are there for other reasons too. They're there to help educate you about how to keep yourself safe. And right here by Central Elementary School, there's what's called Community Policing Office. Have any of you seen that? When you went by and you saw all those police cars and the big car parked down there, you must have seen it on your way to school. So inside that building, there's people who are going to help you. There's people called Citizens on Patrol. They drive around here and they watch for unusual things. If they see somebody in a backyard that looks a little maybe sketchy, they will phone the police and tell them. They'll watch cars. If they see somebody breaking into a car, they'll phone the police and tell them. That's one. We have people out there who watch for speeders, because it's really important that our streets are safe too. So those are just a few of the ways that we keep our community safe. And of course we have our firefighters. Our firefighters are magnificent. And you know, if you phone 911, if you have a fire at your house, they'll be there right away to help you put that out. And they also help people who are sick. When we have an accident on the road, they'll come and they'll help make sure that that person gets stabilized before the ambulances arrive. Suzanne, that was a great question. Thank you.
Cool.
If elected, what would you do about loose animals in Chilliwack?
About loose animals in Chilliwack? Okay, so we already have something for loose animals in the city of Chilliwack. We work together with what's called the Fraser Valley Regional District. That's a big government body that has everybody from Abbotsford to Hope, and they look after our animals in our community. If there's a loose animal on the road, you just have to phone 702-5000, and they will go get that animal and they'll pick up that animal. Now, if that animal has never been loose before, because sometimes we get little puppies who are really excited and they run out the door and you can't find them. Has anybody had that happen to them? Yeah. So these guys are really kind. What they'll do is they'll get your puppy or your dog, they'll bring it to your house, and your dog gets one free ride, right? One free ride. After that, if your dog is on the road, then they'll pick up your dog and they'll take your dog to the animal control shelter, and they'll keep your dog there till you come and pick up that dog. Now that dog should have a license, so if you have a pet, make sure your dog gets a license, right? That way we'll know how to find you. If it doesn't have a license, nobody will know who that dog belongs to, right? And then when you come to pick up that dog, they'll ask you for a little bit of money to cover their cost in picking up the dog and in sheltering your dog and feeding your dog and picking up after your dog too. And that way we keep our animals safe on our streets. Does that answer your question? Thank you, Nicole. That was a great one. And thanks for helping me come in today. You were a really great host. Thank you.
Julie.
If elected, I think there are too many homeless people. I think there are too many homeless people, but we need to reduce it.
That is such a good question, Julie. And we all see those people, you know, at some point in the city of Chilliwack. And we're working really hard right now to help get people into homes. So right now, as I said a little bit earlier, we've had a reduction in homelessness. We actually took 40%, almost half of the people that were on the street in the last 3 years, we've taken off the street and put into homes, which is pretty cool, I think. Well, I know it's pretty cool. So the other communities around Chilliwack haven't done as well with their homeless population. They still have quite a few on the street. But the really hard thing, Julie, is that sometimes those people don't want to go into shelter. Like right now, we have a few people that are staying underneath the overpass by McDonald's, and they're kind of creating a little bit of camp there. I see some of you nodding, so you've seen that's happening. We send out our bylaw enforcement every day to go out there and talk to those people and tell them where they can get help, right? And we send out our operations crew to go out because, sorry to be this blunt, but those people don't have a bathroom. So they go to the bathroom in the bushes and on the street, which is not a good thing for them to do. It makes it really, really messy. So they go clean that up, and they clean up other things that are dangerous, like needles that sometimes they leave behind. So we're working on that. We're trying to convince them. We're coming up with a plan. But the good news is the City of Chilliwack doesn't do this all by ourselves. We work with other people like the Ministry for Children and Families, places that help us with that. We have 21, and the school district does too. And we make sure that people are safe. We really want to get them off the street. So thank you. Thanks for your kind heart in asking for that, because winter's coming and it's really cold out there. And if you ever go by, just here's a little note from Mama Mayor. If you ever go out and you see somebody begging at the side of the road with a sign saying they need food, please don't give them money. Give your money to Salvation Army or Ruth and Naomi's or one of the Cyrus Center, places that actually provide service to these people, because the police told us that these people make about $60 an hour doing that. And they don't want them on the street doing that. They want them getting help. What you can do, and I've seen other people do it, is take them some food and give them something to eat to keep them warm and to keep them healthy. Take them a coat if you need to, or a blanket to keep warm, because it's going to get really cold out there. New gloves are always nice. Socks are fabulous. But yeah, we're all working on that. We all want to see people in homes. Thanks, Julie. And again, thank you for helping me come into the school. You were a great reader this morning. Thanks.
Excellent.
Mine is sort of like Nicole's. It's also about animals, but it's kind of different at the same time. If I elect you, will you help provide will you help animals survive and provide more animal shelters?
Well, help animals survive is absolutely part of what we do at the city. We don't want to see animals get hit by cars or anything like that when they run loose. But I have to ask you to tie up your animal. Your animal inside. Don't tie your animal outside for very long, because they get cold too. But make sure that your animal is safe, because I can't keep your animal safe for you. You can do that. But if your animal does get loose, like I said, you make sure you call 702-5000, and they'll come and they'll find your dog for you. And if we have a shelter there that is big enough for your animals, so you don't have to worry about them not being looked after. We love animals in our city too.
I'll give you one more question. Say
If you were elected, which one? If you were elected, would you add more books to the libraries?
Oh my goodness, I love that question. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Every year we add more books to the library. And so right now, if you want the brand new books in Chilliwack, you have to go to Twin Rings, because they have to keep their books in there for a year, and all of their books are brand new, right? So they always come back to that library. But yes, we add new books, we add new videos, we add all kinds of new information for people at the library every single year. Don't you love that it's free? I love that too. You can go and take out a book, and if your book is almost close to being overdue, they'll send you a note and let you know. So you don't have to have fines, and you can even renew them online. How many of you go to the library? That is fabulous. Good. It's free for you. All you need is a card. If you don't go right now, go. They've got some really, really good things for you to look at, and things for you to listen to, and movies for you to watch. So thanks. And can I say one more thing, Mr. Lister?
Absolutely, yes.
All
please.
the things we build in the city, artificial turf fields, the cultural centers, the leisure centers, the skate parks, we do it by paying for it as we go. I have one more thing in my little bag that I love. At home, I really love shoes. I really, really, really love shoes. And my sister bought me this piggy bank. And on the outside, it says a new shoes fund. And what I've learned is that you need to save for the things you want. So in the city of Chilliwack, we save for the things that we want. That's what we do. We don't get debt. You know, sometimes if you borrow money, you have to pay a whole bunch more to the company that lent you money. And we don't want to do that. We want to prepare and save. So we're saving for some things in the city of Chilliwack. We're saving for new dikes. We're saving for, we have money ready for a new bridge in Better Crossing, you know, that big one that goes up to cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
So when we get funding from the federal government and the provincial government, then we'll be able to build it. And we're gonna keep saving, and we're not gonna leave our debt to you guys. You're not gonna have to pay off our debt for us. You're gonna, when you become the mayor, when you become city councilors, when you become school trustees, and I hope some of you do, there won't be debt in the city for you to pay for. So thank you very much for listening to me today, and Mr. Lister.
So, Your Worship, we asked Raymond Cowkey one question that I feel like we should probably ask all the candidates.
Sure.
And that is, if you were elected for another term as mayor, what would be the most important thing that you would like to achieve in that term?
Oh, thank you for that question. For me, it's all about the downtown. When I grew up as a little girl, there were piles of people downtown shopping. There were no malls. Isn't that weird? It's hard to believe, isn't it? There were no other shopping opportunities other than right downtown. So I'd walk downtown, I'd go to Eaton's, which was down there in Suite 16, and I loved it. And lately I've been watching the downtown start to fall apart a little bit. You know, there's some people downtown that need some help, and we need to bring people into the downtown. So I started really thinking about this with my council and what we would do. We hired some people and they said, the economy's bad, it's gonna take 20 to 30 years to turn your downtown around. And I felt really bad because, guys, like, I am 58 years old. And I could be dead by the time that happened, and I didn't want that to happen. So we said, is there a way we can speed this up? And they said, yes, there is. Buy some property and start cleaning it up, getting rid of the old stuff that is full of, I'm not sure how to actually put this. Maybe just say that it's not helpful to the city. Clean up the downtown, make sure that people get help. So that's what we're doing. So when you go downtown, I'm hoping that in this term, it might be the next one because of the economy, but I'm hoping that we will have that whole area. There's 1.7 hectares right in the middle of downtown. It connects down where that new park is in the middle, down by Five Corners, all the way down to Nowell Street where All Phillips is. That whole block, they're going to put in some housing. They're putting in new retail, that means shops and restaurants and pubs. They're going to have all of that. And then they're going to have offices up on top for doctors and dentists. And then people are going to live up there. Maybe you'll get to live up there. And I hope that we have a bustling downtown. I want to thank all of you for being such a polite class, for listening to me. Thank you very much to the audience for watching on Twitter or on Facebook. And I wish you all well. And don't forget to tell your parents and your friends to vote. And don't forget to vote in your election here at the city. Thank you very, very, very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you taking
Yeah,
the time
you
out
bet.
to help these kids.
My pleasure.
They need to know that when they get to the voting age, that part of being an active citizen is to have their voice heard at election time, and so you're helping them understand that, and I appreciate that.
Excellent.
So thank you.
Well, you guys will get to choose the people you want to have, the people that you want to have run the city. And other people in the world are dying for that privilege. People in Hong Kong, people in Syria, people in Yemen, they're standing out there protesting because they want to do what you're going to get to do. So do it. You have the freedom to do it. And thank the people who fought for your freedom to make that happen on November 11th. Thanks.
So for those online, that concludes our presentation of Mayor Gaetz. Students will be voting in the parallel election with the support of student vote on Friday, November the 14th. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lister.
Yeah.
Subscribe to videos.
We're still broadcasting, guys.